Howdy. Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to Tuesday Tips at 2. We're going to talk about identity theft versus identity errors. And also to all our single brothers and sisters out there, happy sad day. You know what I'm talking about if you are single. Wanted to say to my wife that I love her and happy Valentine's Day to her. Hopefully she watches my video later on today. My latest blog post was on identity theft versus identity errors, so I wanted to talk about that. First off, my name's Chris Bush. I'm with elevatemyscores.com, we're here to help you improve your credit if you're a realtor or a loan officer, and you may have some partners or even a builder, and you have clients that you need to send over to us. Please go to our website, elevatemyscores.com, and you can refer your clients directly on there or have your clients go check it out. We're running a special today, so anybody that sees this video and is interested in a free month of credit repair, just call me up at my number is, I still need to look at it, 281-612-1281. Just mention Valentine 14. Valentine 14 will get you a free month of credit repair. And then also going on from now to the end of the month, any clients that are referred over to us through one of our preferred mortgage lenders or loan officers will get a free upgrade to a plan above. So, you know, if they pick the standard plan, they'll get the plus plan, and so on throughout that. So, give us a call, 281-819-6006. Again, 281-819-6006 is our phone number. So anyways, let's talk about identity theft versus identity errors. Identity theft is a big thing out there. You know, a lot of people, you see it all over the place. The ads, the different credit monitoring, they try to frighten you and scare you. And there's a lot of scary things out there. I know that personally, we have had some issues with things being stolen, credit card information, things like that. A lot of times it is mistaken for identity errors, and we'll talk about that. So let's talk about identity theft first. Identity theft was when someone steals your identity for financial gain. Okay, a lot of times it can be someone just, finding your credit card information or finding your personal information in the trash. So dumpster diving. It can also be what's called skimming, where they kind of, look over your shoulder and pull information off of, your laptop, your cell phone. So make sure when you're sitting there with your laptop, you can actually get these privacy screens to go on your laptop that only you can see that. People sitting next to you, especially if you're a business traveler, they can't see your screen. That's highly recommended. Cover your phone when you're looking at sensitive information. Another thing that's very common is phishing. So you get an email, and I've gotten a few recently that I'm like, I never signed up for that service, but they want me to go there and say, oh, hey, enter your password here because you forgot it and you need to reset it and all that kind of stuff. Well, now they've got you. They ask you for information, you put the information in, and now they've got your information. So on a lot of things, you can actually put on what's called two-step verification. So things like your Facebook account and others, you can turn on two-step verification. So what that means is if you log into a source that you have never logged into before, it's going to send you a code to your and a text message to your cell phone that you then have to punch that in order to get through that second wall in order to sign in. That is very important. I highly recommend you turn that on for Facebook, because I've known too many people in my family that have had their Facebook hacked as a result. Other things that can happen is what are called skimmers on gas stations. And this is, again, happened to a family member where you put your credit card in when you're getting your gas, and they've got a little thing on there that pulls the credit card number off. Now they can use that and go off and spend it and actually print it onto a real credit card and use it. So these are all things that it's identity theft, but also theft of personal information. You just have to be very, very careful of. Get yourself a shredder. Shred any personal documents before you throw them away. Make sure you get a good cross-cut shredder, one that's going to really cut those into small pieces, making it nearly impossible to figure out that information. because you definitely don't want anybody dumpster diving when you throw away personal tax information or recent tax information for your home. All that stuff is very personal. You always want to keep it very secret. Change your passwords on your computer very often. Use very hard passwords. For the Apple users out there like myself, a lot of times, Apple offers those kind of very elaborate credit passwords. Highly recommend those. I mean, those can be very helpful to help secure your password. Now, obviously, you'll have one master password to your iCloud that you can go in and get those passwords if you need them. But it's a very good way to help secure a password for all those different sites, and then let Apple Keychain kind of manage all those for you. If you're a Chrome user, again, you can use Chrome to kind of help manage those passwords. It doesn't really, I don't think it prompts you for passwords, but it is highly recommended to use very difficult passwords. That means things like uppercase letters, numbers, symbols like exclamation points, number signs, all that kind of stuff. Very important to use in your passwords. Make it as hard as possible for somebody to figure out. Okay, so that's kind of identity theft and what can happen there. Now, a lot of times when you have your identity stolen, it's possible that those things can end up on their credit report. Now, a lot of times we can go after and get those cleaned up for you. We can also help you if you feel like, it's something that was criminal and that we need to file a police report. We'll kind of handhold you and walk you through the steps of actually filling out the police report, submitting that to the right agencies to make sure that the bureaus will indeed remove that information from your credit report. And we'll kind of walk you through that as part of our program. Now let's talk about identity errors. Okay. A lot of times when people look at things on their credit report and they're like, well, that's not mine. Obviously my identity has been stolen, and that's not always the case. So a couple of different ways that identity errors can happen. Same last name, same zip code. So if your name is Jones, Smith, Gonzalez, Lopez, a lot of times you're going to have things on your credit report that don't otherwise belong to you. Okay. Like I had a client, he was in East Texas, his last name was Jones, and he had 4 tax liens on his credit report. And then when he went to the tax lien office to talk to them about it, they said, well, actually, we have a record of a 5th one. Well, he never had a tax lien. It just so happened that he had a very common last name and also a very common first name. So and also all of those tax liens came from the same zip code. So he was very unfortunate to have a lot of things that he had to deal with. Again, these are all things that we can go after and get corrected, off of the credit report. Another thing that is that we have seen is the zip code. Zip code. Social Security number. So if you have 4 letters out of your name and 7 out of the 9 Social Security numbers that match, you can have your files merged. So a little story about this. One of my clients, his name was Roberto. His file merged with a guy by the name of Robert. And on the credit report, I noticed that the Social Security number was 1 digit off of Robert's. So 8 of the 9 Social Security numbers matched. Now, Roberto thought that Robert had stolen his credit, and he wanted to file a police report against this poor guy, Robert, who he thought had had stolen his identity. But upon looking at it, I kind of told him, let's hold on, let's take a look at this. And one of the things I noticed was there was actually a credit card open on there that had been open for 7 years. Never missed a payment, been on time, had a very low balance compared to the limit, a very good credit card, and actually it was his best, what's called a trade line on their credit report, the best item on their credit report. And so I asked him, I was like, well, if he stole your identity, why would that show up on there, and why would he make the payments? He's like, I thought that was odd too, is what Roberto said. But it turns out that Robert did not steal Roberto's identity. They just happened to have very similar information. So that showed up on Roberto's credit report as if it was his. Now, we were able to go through there and get those things cleaned up for the client. And that is part of our program. But those things that are very common, and a lot of times I can take a look at that and identify those issues right away. But that's it. That's the big differences between identity theft and identity errors. Don't jump to conclusions. So if you see something that's on your credit report that you think's not yours, give us a call. We'll take a look at it. We'll pull the credit report for you and do a free analysis of the credit report. Look for any errors like that, especially things that don't belong to you, and we'll talk about why you don't think they are yours, what they could be, and if it is theft or if it is an error, and how that error is, and how they can all be corrected. So give us a call. 281-819-6006 is our main number. Again, this is Chris Bush with elevatemyscores.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next Tuesday.